gotta believe,
Adversity for sale. You gotta believe. I love
Yes,
it.
sir.
First of all, I love the title.
Yeah.
You gotta talk about what that means.
Man, that means everything, bro. It's like adversity is the real deal. It's where you learn. You know what I'm saying? It's where you grow. It's where you know, they say they never met a skilled sailor in a calm sea.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to go through it to
Bars.
continue to go through it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's basically about. It's like, I'm going to tell you about how many times I lost before I even knew what winning was, right? And the reason why I was able to do that and continue to lose and not get discouraged was because I believed, right? And that's with anything you do. I mean, anybody you see that's successful at some point, you know, they would believe in themselves. And you got to really look at them, though, because it's like, you know, you think Barack, you know, you had to know he told somebody he was going to be the first black president.
Right.
And they probably like, yo, man. And when you pull it off,
right.
you know, everybody's happy, everybody's proud, but nobody knows all the shit you went through to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody really. By the way, if he sat down and told us, we'd all be shocked, blown away.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So instead of waiting for that, I wanted to explain in my book. It's about a lot of things that I could explain to the best of my ability without incriminating myself. And that's basically what Adversity for Sale is about.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna unpack this into a movie.
I would love that.
You jumped all into my questions.
I would love that, but in the way I would do it, it wouldn't just be about me. It'll be about everything that was going on. Because like music at that time was like, it was golden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the city was golden.
Right.
The clubs was golden. The nightlife was golden. Atlanta was just, I mean, it was a different city. Like the vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it would just be about all. It's like it would be like a Paid in Full.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you watch Paid in Full, you just got to think about, you know,
right.
Like, you know, that city was lit back then.
It was a stage.
Right. You feel me?
It was a stage.
Yo, and the crazy thing is there's a cast of characters in the book. I mean, it's literally like that, you know. Yeah. And a lot of them are mentioned in your music. So, you know, we've heard these names over and over, and now you're getting the real backstory.
Well, the ones that I could.
Yeah. You know well, sometimes you're saying, well, we'll just call them such and such.
Right. I mean, you know, because I want to be respectful, you know what I'm saying? But at the same, because this is not me trying to throw nobody under the bus, get one up. It's just a story, you know what I'm saying? It was very therapeutic for me because, you know, it's like, you know, hip-hop culture, we go through so much, man. We like Marines that came back from a war. You know, we all got PSTD. We all paranoid. We all got our thing. And it's just like, for me, I was just unpacking that. Yeah. Writing the book. And it was just like, damn, like that did happen. Wow. And it's just sometimes when you sit back, you know, you got to really just, you know, give God the glory. Because just like, you know, you've been through so much. And for a day like today, for me to officially be an author, who knew I had to go through all that shit to officially be an author? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, how did you get to this point? Like, I mean, you know, when I read it, I'm like, I'm reliving certain things because I was there. I was not all of it, but I was there for the hip hop part, a lot of it. You know what I mean? And it was a crazy time. So I guess what I'm saying is, you do get to a point in life where you're like, let me look back and let me, you know, like you said, unpack.
It wasn't the smartest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had to deal with a lot of it, like, head on. Even when I was right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? Then it was just like, you know, even back then, you know, I was smoking and drinking a lot. So it was easy to put some shit in the back of your mind. Like, it was easy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as, you know, as a grown man, it's like when you got to face some of that stuff, it's like, it's trauma. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I never really unpacked when Shakur died. I didn't sit with that well. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with that how I dealt with anything else. And even when like a lot of the homies was dying, like I never really I was on the move. I couldn't stop. Right? Because if I slowed down, that was too close to stopping. So I think now that I got a chance to sit with it, and you're right, like writing the book was one thing. Reading it for the audio book was a different thing because you're reading out loud, and you got to go through the emotions of what's going. So I did stop a few times and just was like, you know, it was hitting me. Yeah, it was hitting me. And there wasn't no blunts and no drink there. You feel me? I'm not there no more. So it's just like I don't got nothing to self-soothe and you know, and just regulate myself. So I got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And not even in a bad way. I should have dealt with it then, but I don't know how. But I got the tools now. That's what's dope. And that's why I'm even out here kicking this to the culture, because we all been through so much real shit, bro. Like my story ain't no different from yours. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like I'm just want the knowledge I've learned. I want to share that to, like, you know, you can get better. You can't figure it out. You can't go back and, you know, fix some of this stuff. And you can, you know, as a person, like, get in a space where you feel better about you. Because it's like a lot of that stuff I feel like, you know, just on some, just being real, like I was cursed or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, why me? Like, just keep kind of, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm like, try me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even tripping no more because I got the tools. And that's what the book is really about, having the tools and having the understanding. And the crazy thing, what kicked it off is somebody gave me the book Think and Grow Rich, and that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
who gave it to you?
One of my business guys, man, out of L.A. He does like insurance. He does very well for himself. He like own a bunch of insurance companies, and you know, anybody with, you know, a couple Rolls Royces in the house in Malibu, I'm going. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, so what are you saying? He's like, yo, you should read this book. And I read it, and you know, the first time I read it, I didn't really get it, and I kept reading it, and I just started to pull things out of there, and I'm like, damn, like it's a lot of knowledge in this book, and that's what got me back into reading. And from then I just started hitting books, and I was like, yo, what if I did my own? You know what I'm saying? What if I talked about, you know, my life and put it in a book form? First thing I had to do was call my lawyers, though, you know, to make sure, like, you know, I just want to make sure I'm talking about things I'm able to talk about
within the outside of the statute.
So and so when that went through, I met Coach a couple of times. I had to change a couple of things, but the message and the intentions wasn't to throw nobody on the bus. It was like, how can I tell this story? Because it's fascinating. It's like where I came from, what I went through, what I stand for, how I've evolved in a game where you don't really see a lot of evolution. I'm the only person I can probably say off the top of my head that I've seen evolve in a lane like mine is Jay-Z. You know, a street guy to turn around. Because a lot, you know, some artists, like you think about Dr. Dre, you know, he's a producer, artist, but you can see him having a long career because he's a producer as well. Jay-Z doesn't produce. He's a guy that was from the streets and he makes music, and he was able to sustain his career this long, and then flip that into business. So when you see that, you're like, wow. But what makes it interesting is when you start seeing his people like Emery and all them come home, you start putting two together. You're like, oh, he really, you know what I'm saying? Okay, like I get it. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, just think about from my generation, there's nobody really like that, right? And that's why I feel I got to tell the story, because you don't really see a lot of cats from my generation really having that longevity and sustaining and keeping their credibility going to other things that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start talking real estate, you know, everybody might not want to hear that conversation, but it's real. It is. When you 8 albums in, you better have something else going on. You feel what I'm saying? Like you better have some other businesses or something, because you know how this game go. That's a fact. You could be up today and down tomorrow. You know, and when you down, ain't nobody checking for you. You know what I'm saying?